So we've discussed why traditional diversity approaches fail. They rely on awareness, policies, and quotas without addressing the underlying cognitive mechanisms that drive inclusion. And we've identified that true inclusion isn't about what we know, it's about how we think. Now, we're going to go beyond the surface. We're going to explore the foundation of inclusive leadership, cognitive complexity, and how it enables leaders to process multiple perspectives, challenge biases, and navigate ambiguity. We'll connect these insights to the 6 signature traits of inclusive leadership, showing how cognitive complexity isn't just a leadership advantage, it's a prerequisite even for fostering real, lasting inclusion. And most importantly, we'll also uncover how something called dynamic intelligence acts as the driving force behind cognitive complexity. Cognitive complexity is the ability to hold multiple perspectives simultaneously, recognize nuance, and adapt thinking in response to new information. Leaders with higher cognitive complexity are more capable of managing diverse viewpoints and making informed, inclusive decisions. And this was demonstrated by Stephen Zaccarow and his team in 2015, who found that leaders with greater cognitive complexity were more effective at managing uncertainty and integrating diverse perspectives into decision-making. And a little after Zaccarow in 2016, Mirosova, Jurisic, Bojanovic demonstrated that cognitively complex leaders are more adaptable to organizational change and more skilled at balancing stakeholder needs. Even more recently, last year, Violet Dord-Munaya's research showed that middle leaders with higher cognitive complexity had a more positive perception of diversity, and that in turn led to better team performance and conflict management. They were better at integrating diverse perspectives, fostering inclusive environments, and managing team dynamics. In other words, cognitive complexity is the foundation of inclusive leadership, because without the ability to engage with complexity, even well-intentioned leaders will default to oversimplified binary thinking. Cognitive complexity also aids the reduction of bias, because bias is not just an awareness problem, it's a cognitive processing problem. The way our brains categorize information influences how we make decisions about people, often in ways we don't even realize. Back in 1992, a team in Israel led by Rachel Ben-Ari found that individuals with higher cognitive complexity exhibited lower levels of intergroup bias and were more capable of forming nuanced perceptions of diverse groups. This effect reduced stereotyping and increased fairness in intergroup perceptions. Researchers Landon Reed and Rob Foles again demonstrated that cognitively complex individuals were better at detecting subtle discrimination and were less likely to engage in stereotyping. And Amy Randall and her team showed that cognitive flexibility developed through increased cognitive complexity led to more inclusive leadership practices, as leaders were able to adjust their approach based on evolving team dynamics. And this means that cognitive complexity isn't just about being more open-minded, it's about fundamentally altering how we process and respond to diversity. So what does an inclusive leader look like in practice? And how specifically does cognitive complexity factor in? Well, in 2016, Deloitte reported that they'd found inclusive leaders consistently demonstrated 6 key traits, all of which require the ability to engage with multiple perspectives, navigate ambiguity, and adapt decision-making. In other words, they are all underpinned by cognitive complexity, which is the foundation that enables these traits to emerge and develop. So let's look at each of these traits through that lens. Commitment. Leaders who see inclusion as a business critical capability must process diverse viewpoints and adapt their leadership strategies accordingly. Cognitive complexity allows them to do this without resorting to surface level solutions. Courage. Oh, that's the wrong slide. I will pull them all up anyway. Here we go. There's courage. There we go. Challenging the status quo requires the mental agility to question long-held assumptions and recognize new patterns in the workplace. Leaders high in cognitive complexity are more likely to engage with discomfort rather than avoid it. Moving on to cognizance of bias, as we've already discussed, recognizing and mitigating bias isn't just about awareness. It requires the ability to examine how biases form, challenge personal blind spots, and adjust behaviors accordingly. And this is only possible with cognitive complexity. Pardon me. Moving on to curiosity. True curiosity isn't just about asking questions. It's about genuinely considering alternative perspectives and being willing to change one's stance when presented with new information, something else that requires high cognitive complexity. Cultural intelligence. This ability to operate effectively in diverse cultural settings relies on the ability to understand, interpret, and adjust to multiple worldviews, a hallmark of cognitive complexity. And collaboration, inclusive leaders create psychological safety, ensuring that diverse perspectives are heard. To do this effectively, they must be able to balance competing viewpoints and integrate them into cohesive team dynamics, which again depends on cognitive complexity. In short, cognitive complexity isn't just an advantage. It's a requirement for any leader who wants to embody these 6 traits. Without it, leadership remains rigid, reactive, and incapable of fostering real inclusion. So how do we move beyond simply identifying cognitive complexity as an asset and actually develop it in leaders? The answer lies in something called dynamic intelligence. Dynamic intelligence is the process through which we construct our thinking and the driver behind cognitive complexity. It's the ability to think intentionally, adjust cognitive patterns, and apply higher order reasoning in real-world scenarios. And it enables leaders to override automatic biases and make more intentional, inclusive decisions. Dynamic intelligence is built around 4 core elements or capacities. Intentions are the automatic thinking patterns that shape how we perceive and respond to situations. Awareness is the recognition of these thought patterns and their influence on our decision-making. Choice is our deliberate selection of cognitive strategies based on awareness and intention. And response is the ability to act effectively by applying the most appropriate cognitive strategy to a given situation. Greater dynamic intelligence means having a broader range of responses to our environment as a result of increased choice in how we think, driven by greater awareness of our cognitive intentions. By integrating dynamic intelligence into leadership development, organizations can move away from performative diversity and inclusion efforts and embed inclusion as a core leadership capability.